we just need to do more chemo and more radiation, and prayed about it. And he said, I'm not going to do any more. I think I'm going to be okay. He says, you're going to be dead in 6 months. That was 16 years ago. Isn't that amazing? And it was a miracle, but I've seen them always hold the bar on themselves high. I've seen them always, like, I can't tell you how beautiful it is as a child. Maybe you already have parents that you feel this way about, but I never doubted that my parents would win. Isn't it awesome to have parents like that, where if they start something, they're going to be the best. They're going to finish. They're going to make it all the way to the top. So when someone showed the industry of building communities, it wasn't nearly as cool as what we have is super cool now. But what my parents did 16 years ago, they were team building, but then instead of super cool audios and videos and change the world, they sold soap, right? It is so hard to be cool selling soap, right? But I knew when someone showed this to them and talked about the financial results that person had. They had a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce, and they had all this from selling soap, but he had thousands of people in their team selling millions of dollars of soap, and so they had this incredible life. I knew when they signed the form, we're getting all that, fired up. I want a red Ferrari. Make mine red, because I knew my parents were going to go there. And one thing the lesson that taught me is I want to be that for my kids, right? I want to be for my kids when they see that mom and dad said they're going to do something, that they know mom and dad are going to finish. How many of you guys want to be that for your kids, right? And my parents have always been that. But then God has other plans sometimes and puts you through circumstances. And I don't believe that he puts you through circumstances to you, circumstances, that are against you, that are making you into a victim of whatever's happening. I believe that he offers them for you, for your ability to become who you're supposed to be. And I saw my parents on a rising track and all of a sudden get set back with the cancer, and it's amazing how they just never faltered. And then when they started Life Leadership, my dad was 65, my mom was 40, and this is 4.5 years ago. And most people at that age, it's easy to feel beaten down. They had no equity. They had no assets, capital. They had what they owned, the Rock and I Ranch, was worth less than what they owed. And so they're upside down. They have nothing but Social Security at 65. And to see them step in and decide, we will win. And to now have them be senior coordinators and making an incredible income and financially free and doing amazing things is just such a blessing for me. So it's amazing. Moving on to Life Coach. And I just go through that lineup of all those people. And you heard a lot of the stories, just a few of the others. I was just up in Utah, and a couple, Joe and Rosemary Martinez, got started with us a few years ago. And Joe's 30 years old, and when he was a late teenager, by the time he was, I think, 16, both his parents had passed away in car accidents, and then his grandparents who were raising him died, and he was pretty much an orphan, but joined the military and just chased his dream and got started in Life Leadership. There, everybody who was on stage is at the coordinator level or above, which is like low six figures or just under six figures, all the way up to hundreds of thousands of dollars per year of all the people that were up here. And so in just a few months, they accomplished that. And I'm hearing their story, and I think, God knew what he was doing when Joe's parents passed away and his grandparents passed away, and he was creating the person that was going to lead thousands of people. Has built huge organizations in Joe and Rosemary's team all over Mexico and Peru, and it's just exploding in Latin America. And then I just talked to our good friends Paul and Sandy Northup out in North Carolina. And Paul and Sandy just hit a new rank called Coordinator Plus 6K, and they're rocking and exploding out there. And just a few years ago, she had Sandy had a very messy divorce, very abusive relationship, and was having to run away from that circumstance, and went through all kinds of hell. and to hear their story and to know and see it up close, and then see when they got started, of all the fears that everybody else has, and see them finish, and see that now they have a phenomenal income, but they're moving up very quickly. And it was so fun about a year ago when Paul was able, after only I think 6 months involved with the business, Paul was able to retire from his job. And here it's been about a year and a half, and they've achieved just amazing things. Isn't that awesome? It's amazing. And then the lineup of all the people you heard their story tonight, and I think of their stories and all the times that they talked about their fears and how they didn't have any money. Every single person, I was thinking about it, every single person who was up here was like super broke. Like when they got started, they all had tons of credit card debt. They all, some of them were like so broke that they were, Kevin and London were living in a little tiny apartment. They went from a 5,000 square foot home to a little tiny apartment and could barely afford their rent there when they got started, working crazy hours. And the big thing is, because my parents always set the bar of demanding from themselves whatever it took to get their dream, that taught Kenyon and I to do that. And it is funny because Kenyon would be soft on everyone else, but she was always hard on herself. She always required of herself to do the most. She always required to do whatever the leaders were doing, but then would soften it for other people. And one thing we learned along the way is to not sugarcoat what it's going to take to achieve your dream. That of course most people don't achieve their dreams. Most people don't. The common man achieves nothing. A common man, don't just decide you're not going to be common, right? Decide that you're here for a reason. And that there's an opportunity for you to be around amazing people. And you'll go through self-doubt, and you'll go through all kinds of fears to achieve your goal and dream. But there's a reason why you're here today. I believe that you've been led here to a group of people that are doing something significant, that are making a huge impact in the world. And that by persevering, by doing something as little as deciding to go to a convention, you can change everything. There's a leader in Peru who's doing great on our team, and he got involved into a network marketing company a few years ago when he was 17, and he had no money. The average person in Peru makes about $350 per month. That's the average person in Lima. And he was a 17-year-old, so he didn't make any. And they said, hey, here's this opportunity. And he went home and he hawked. His parents had bought him his one possession, a PlayStation 3. That's the only thing he had. And he went and he sold it to buy his entrance into this business. And 6 months later, he was making $5,000 a month, which was more than 10 times more than his parents, and was supporting his family's family. Isn't that amazing? Just the courage to step out. And when I talk to people and they share with me whatever is holding them back, I say, look, if you're going to have a career of helping people achieve dreams, you got to create a story. And if you're struggling with time or money, man, that's a great opportunity. Do something crazy. Go sell something, right? My good friends Robbie and Emily Palmer sold their whole bedroom set, put their mattress on the floor, and sold their bedroom set to be able to buy tickets and airplane tickets to go to a convention a few years ago. Isn't that crazy? That's a good woman to be okay with selling the bedroom set. And yet, a year ago, it was pretty awesome when they pulled up in a limousine to pick up Robbie for his last day of work, and they're totally financially independent. And you can go story after story after story of all the leaders. And Kenyon and I are enjoying the most incredible benefits of persevering through that. And it's not the money that we get. It's so wonderful that we can be financially blessed the way we've been and get dream home and cars and vacations and stuff. And yet that is a small part of the wealth that we've been given. The wealth that we've been given is seeing our friends become who God's called them to be. And I know what I've been given as my opportunity in this lifetime is to go reach inside people and figure out what's great about them and shine the light on it and expect nothing less. My goal is to not listen to your self-defeating thoughts and to just shine the light on who you should be and hold you accountable to your greatness. And that's what we expect from you. So if you guys are a lot of you guys are already coming to the convention. There's a few that are new checking it out. We hope that we beat the dark snot out of you so you decide to do it. but go away, go into this convention with a mindset that you're expecting it to be the moment of change for you. And I'm so excited because behind this front row of people that you heard tonight and some of the people that we mentioned that live out of state that are part of this team that are at those high levels and above, there's another almost 100. We were just at Orrin and Lori Woodward's house a few weeks ago, and all the leaders knew you had to be a new cab leader, which is about $2,000 a month, or you had to rank advance. If you had already been there 6 months ago, you had to move up. So just that group was about 100 people there over at Orrin and Lori's house. So you see this first string, but then there's this second string that are just behind them that are starting to realize some goals and dreams and starting to see the vision for them. And then below that, there's thousands that are making a few hundred, or that are just starting to, they've registered their first 2 or 3 people, and they're starting to believe the great thing can happen. And I just see this revolution of people changing their life and truly becoming, like Jeremy said and Kenyon said, the pilgrim for their family's heritage, to set a new culture, a new family dynamics for your family, that they're going to look up and say, that was the woman, that was the man that stood up for our family, and because of them, we have a culture of chasing dreams and getting them in this family. We have a culture of winning big and playing with all we got. And you can be that change agent. So we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. So good. Like, Kenyon and I look at each other like, what is happening with Jared?